everybody to Spinnaker Lounge for our Captain and Senior Officer Q&A. My name is Bryn, and I've had the pleasure to be your cruise director on this cruise. Now, I want to run through a few facts and figures about our beautiful vessel before our gentlemen get here to answer all of your questions. So spend the next little bit thinking of your questions, and then we'll get to that shortly. So a little bit about the Norwegian Jewel. She was built in Germany in the Meyer Wharf Building Yard. Majority of Norwegian ships were built there in Myers Wharf. The new Prima class is being built in Italy. And then we have the Norwegian Epic. Has anybody been on the Norwegian Epic before? Okay, y'all know it's like the little stepsister of the family. She's very different than every other ship because she was built in France, and she's the only one that was built in France. But most of them were built here in Germany. The ship was originally built and had its maiden voyage in 2005, but it took 2 years for her to complete her building process. So she started building in 2003, finished in 2005, and it initially cost to build was about $420 million. But that was 21 years ago. She's about to celebrate her 21st birthday and finally be legal drinking age. She is registered in Nassau, Bahamas. So if you've seen the Bahamian flag flying off of our ship, it is because she's registered in the Bahamas. She is registered there like most cruise ships, or a lot of them are registered in the Bahamas, because it's one of the few countries in the world that does not regulate nationalities of crew members. So for example, we do have a ship. Anybody been on the Pride of America in Hawaii? Oh, many people. Fantastic. That is one of our ships that sails only in Hawaii, so it is flagged in the U.S. It is the only large cruise ship in the world to be flagged in the U.S., but because of that, about 60-70% of our crew have to be U.S. citizens. So when it's flagged in the Bahamas, there is no regulations like that. So we are able to have the crew that we have, which is made up about 54 different nationalities. So we are so glad that we're able to have such a diverse international population on board. So her length is about 300 meters or 1,000 feet. So you definitely have been getting your steps in this cruise. But width, window to window, is only 38 meters or 125. So not that wide. Height about 60 meters or 200 feet. And her draft, which is how low she hangs below the water, is only 8 meters or 27 feet. So as tall and as long as she is, it's actually really shallow underneath the water, which allows us to pull into our different ports of call. Her maximum speed is 25 knots, or about almost 29 miles per hour. That's if we're using all of our engines and going full throttle max speed, which we don't always do, but if we need to, we are able to push it to the 25 knots. We have 3 departments here on board. Your deck department is maybe what you think of when you think of traditional sailors. They are overseeing your safety, security, medical, taking care of the actual hull of the ship, your bridge, your navigation team, and they are all overseen by our staff captain, who is second in command of the vessel. Then we have our engine department that takes care of probably what you think, the engines, but that also includes all of the power on board. So the AC and the HVAC system, the water, the electricity, a lot of very important things on our ship, as well as our fuel and fuel consumption. And then we have our hotel team. So our hotel department is what you all are experiencing. It is our front of house. So this is your food and beverage, your entertainment, your guest services, your housekeeping, all of the experiential piece that you experience, which is overseen by our general manager. You can tell our officers on board by their epaulets, or the stripes on their shoulders. So all officers on board have those stripes. And then they also signify rank as well as department. So the more stripes that they have, the higher the rank, up to 5 stripes for captain, as well as our chief engineer, staff captain, and general manager have 4, and down on they go. But as well as the stripes, they also have little symbols. The deck department would have the little diamond. The engine department has the propellers, which makes sense because propellers. And then the hotel department has white stripes between their gold stripes. You also have, for example, your medical team that will have red stripes between their gold stripes, as well as the medical twisty symbol, whatever it was called. That one is also on their epaulets. Now for our deck department, we have our bridge. You might have seen the bridge when you're out in the ports of call. That is the glass bar that is sticking out 2 decks below us on deck 11. There is a bridge viewing room. If you want to go after this presentation and see the bridge in action, you can. Very few of our vessels have this bridge viewing room. The newer vessels do not, so take advantage of it while you are on board. Now, our bridge team runs 24/7, and they are looking after all of our navigation as well as safety. We have a safety center on board that manages all alarms, all surveillance, security systems. They can control our fire screen and watertight doors, which our fire screen doors can close and withstand fires up to certain temperatures, as well as watertight doors are on our bottom decks. If for some reason we were to get damaged and start taking on water, we can close a watertight compartment. The water will fill in that compartment and only stay there, and we can stay afloat. So all of that can be manned from the bridge. If any of you were here on board on the second day of Bermuda in the morning, we had our crew emergency drill. We run that every single week, so crew members are able to be comfortable with what their safety duty is. Every single crew member has 2 jobs on board, their job function and their safety duty. And so we practice every week, so it becomes second nature for us. So that way, if there's actual emergency, since y'all will have absolutely no idea what to do, we can tell you what to do and be comfortable doing so. So all of that can be run from the bridge. The bridge has the center console as well as the 2 wings, which are the part that are sticking out the sides of the ship. On the bridge, there are multiple ways to steer the ship. One is the steering wheel, which makes sense, much like you imagine the pirate ship. It's just not this big. It's actually just the size of about a go-kart wheel, not even as big as your steering wheel of your car, a little bit smaller, the size of like a go-kart, as well as our joystick. So the joystick to control this entire vessel is about the size of your pinky. So you can control the whole ship from the pinky, or there is track pilot, which is our autopilot, which we use, for instance, on sea days like today, where it's calm, beautiful, open ocean. We're able to say, I want to go this way at this speed, and it'll just keep us going that way at that speed. On the bridge, we have multiple ways to navigate for our charts. We do have our automated and technology charts now, but we also have all of our paper maps and paper charts that our navigation team is able to plot on as well. It's like my mom always told me to keep an atlas in my car just in case the GPS isn't working. That's what they're doing. I don't do it, but they do it for sure. And so they have the charts and they're able to plot our navigation plan on the paper maps as well as on the digital. And then in the wings that are sticking out on the side, we have our full control panels. So not only can the ship be controlled from our center console, but also from either side of the ship. This is really helpful for when we are docking, because captain is able to go over to the side, and like when cars have the review side view cameras these days, it's like that. There's the glass at the bottom, so he can look down, look underneath his feet, and see exactly where he is docking and pulling up to, and exactly when we're inching up to the pier. So he's able to control it from the side of the ship. Then down in the engine departments, our engine control room is also manned 24/7. Now it is overseeing our water, our fuel levels, and then our different oil levels. All of that is maintained in the engine control room, as well as when it comes to your air conditioning, the water, the engines, everything can be controlled from that one room. For our engines, do we have any engineers in the house? Okay, a few. Well, this is going to make so much more sense to you than it does to any of the rest of us, because it just looks like a lot of numbers. But we have 5 engines down in our engine room. We do not run all of them at one time if we don't have to. Most of the time we are running on 4 and 1 is the backup. But they have a combined output of about 72,000 kilowatts. All I know is that sounds like a lot of horses running down there giving all that power down there. But 72,000 kilowatts of power to keep us going. And bunkering, a lot of guests ask this question about our fuel. So we are able to bunker fuel. We have large tanks in the bottom of the ship. Our fuel, we bunker typically in just our home port, so in Philadelphia. If we are on longer cruises, if we need to at any point, we are able to refuel. But for the most part, we bunker everything that we need when we are in our home port. Now, we are able to have a capacity of 2,700 cubic meters, because we have a consumption about 48 gallons a minute. So we have a high consumption, so we are able to bunker a lot along the way. That's about 260 metric tons a day. We also have our azipods for when it comes to propulsion and steering. So our azipods are two below the water's propellers that are massive. So each propeller has 5 blades, and each blade is 6 meters long, so about 18 feet long. Those 2 azipods control all of our propulsion and steering, so they are able to turn 360 degrees and point us in the direction that we need to go. And for context, that's a full-grown man in comparison to a ginormous azipod, so they are very large. But not only do we have the azipods, we also have our bow thrusters. Anybody have a forward deck cabin all the way in the forward? All right, so you know when we're docking in the morning and your room goes da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? That's the bow thrusters. So the bow thrusters help us move sideways. It helps us for docking, for that way we don't have to try to parallel park along the pier. We are able to scoot up to the pier and just move sideways directly into our spot. So that is the bow thrusters on either side in the forward. They're able to help us with our maneuvering. As well as our stabilizer system. This is so important and you don't even know it was at work. Think of your stabilizers as your training wheels. So when we are in rougher seas, the stabilizers are able to flip out and add a little bit stability from the rocking side to side. So we still have our rocking forward to back, but the side to side listing is helped to be controlled by our 2 wings that are able to be flipped out. They're about 6 feet wide and almost 21 feet long. They are obviously not out when we're in port because we hit the pier. So they are only out when we're at sea. And then our water production, a very popular question of how does our water work on board? We have 2 different ways that we are able to produce water on board. We do bunker water in case of emergency. We can do that, but we're also able to produce it through 2 techniques. One is our evaporator units, which shockingly use evaporation to create our water. But the other is our reverse osmosis. This is how we create and purify water to make it potable drinking water. So we're able to produce all of the water that you are drinking, the shower water, the sink water, the laundry water, the cooking water, everything that we can produce on board. We can produce about 739,000 gallons a day. So we are able to produce the consumption, because if we had to only bunker water, we'd last probably like a day. So with all the water y'all are going through, we are able to produce it all here on board. And then anchors, we have 2 anchors and we always have a spare as well. So if you look out the front of the ship to the bow, you'll see our anchor hanging out there for our spare. But they do weigh about 12 tons. And then each anchor chain is about 350 meters long, and which is about 1,200 feet. So if it gets into deep water, we are able to still utilize our anchors. And our incinerator is down on the bottom decks. We have a very robust recycling program here on board. So we have an entire incinerator team that takes care of how we are disposing the waste. So every type of waste has a different color bin that's assigned to it, whether it's plastic, it's paper, it's glass, it's aluminum and metal, it's food waste, whatever it may be. Each one has their own recycling technique and are able to be offloaded after being compacted down, offloaded and sent to recycling plants in our home port. Then your hotel department, we have our laundry downstairs. Our laundry is taking care of your tablecloths, your napkins, your sheets, your towels, your laundry, everything that you can think of that needs to be laundered is happening down in our laundry room. We have gigantic washing machines that can fit a full-size person. Not that I know personally, I'm not admitting to anything, but they can fit a full-size person, as well as 2 machines that you all want to have at your home. Is we have on the left your steam press to get those nice crisp edges and pleats in your pants and the nice folds, better than an iron. But most importantly, down here in the center, we have a laundry folder. The one thing you all want to have at home, or that you have a spouse for, but we have a laundry folder here on board so that all of our towels, all of the sheets, everything is crisp folded to the exact correct dimensions. Provisioning, every Philadelphia we provision for the full cruise. When we have longer cruises, we might provision stock up on fresh produce and things like that throughout, but we are able to provision everything in Philadelphia. We get about 352 pallets just for the food and beverage provisioning. So that's just everything that you're eating and drinking that we are unloading every single cruise. So as you're disembarking the ship tomorrow, you'll see all of the forklifts and all the pallets running around, because while we have you all disembarking, then we have all the luggage disembarking, we're preparing for the new people embarking, and then 350 pallets are also embarking. And then our galley team, we have our main gallery that sits between the Palace Restaurant and Azura Restaurant. They're serving all of our restaurants, as well as we have an additional galley for Garden Cafe and for Oceans, as well as our bakery and pastry team. Our bakery and pastry team work 24/7. So if you are an early riser and you're the first one at breakfast and the croissants and the danishes taste fresh, it's because they were made in the wee hours of the morning. So you're always having fresh desserts and fresh pastries. And then our crew areas in the top left, we have our I-95. Anybody know the I-95 interstate? Oh yeah. Yes, oh y'all are very familiar with it. Like the I-95 interstate, this is our longest consecutive hallway on board. It goes all the way from the very front of the ship, all the way to the very back of the ship consecutively, and it allows us to, one, move through the ship faster, and two, it's how we transport our trolleys and different items and our pallets, so we're not transporting them around in your area and clogging up the traffic. So we streamline it along our I-95, which you did cross when you were getting off in the ports, because it is down on deck 4. Then in the top right, this is our crew mess, our crew dining. It is much like the Garden Cafe, but the nice thing about our crew dining is because we have crew members from 54 different countries, we also have a lot of different regional foods available. So we try to cater to create a little piece of home for all of our crew members. So we'll have an Indian section, an Asian section, a European section. We have a Caribbean section, pizza, pasta, salad, all of that served at all of our meals for our crew members. And they are open in shift times, including late night for our night shift. Then in the bottom left, this is what they tell me is the crew gym. Couldn't tell you, never been, but that's what they say is the crew gym. Thank you so much. It is open 24/7, so regardless of what shift people are on, they are able to use it if they choose to for some crazy reason, but it is available, full crew gym, much like the fitness center available for you all. And on the right side is our lecture training room. So we do lots of trainings on board. Like I was mentioning about our safety positions, we do safety trainings so that all of our crew members are prepared. But as well as we have a robust HR team that has a crew enrichment and a training specialist. So they focus on trainings that help the welfare of our crew members. For example, we do stress management training, time management training, things like that, as well as leadership and management training. If people want to take next steps to become a manager, we have those programs as well to help them develop. So there's a lot happening behind the scenes that our crew members can better in their careers and as people. As well as, this is one I have been to and I can tell you about, in the top left, we have our crew mart. Picture this as your 7-Eleven, your Wawa, your local bodega. We just don't have hoagies in ours, but we have a lot of snacks, the important part, Doritos, Red Bulls, whatever crew members need to get through the day, as well as any toiletries if they're running out of toothpaste or deodorant and they need a few more toiletries before our next port, they're able to pick it up in the crew mart. And then on the right side are 2 photos of our cabins. Most of our crew members on this ship live in a double berth, which means think of it like a traditional college dorm room. So you've got 2 people in a bunk bed setup sharing 1 bathroom. So better than when I was in college and I shared with all the bathroom with all the girls on my floor. But you have 2 people bunk bed style with their own wardrobe and storage space, and then with a shared bathroom. Now that you've learned a little bit about our ship and a little fun facts and figures, now we're going to turn it over to the gentlemen that you came here for. They are going to be here to answer all of your questions. But I want to start off by overseeing the entire hotel department on board, your food and beverage, entertainment, housekeeping, everything that you would experience. Please put your hands together for your general manager from India, is Rumi.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Did you have breakfast today?
Yes.
Let's try again. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, my name is Rumi. I'm the general manager on board the Jewel. Been with Norwegian since 1998. When I'm not here, I call Mumbai my home, which is in India. And when I'm also not at home in Mumbai, I call the Jubal my home. So welcome to my home. And I sincerely hope my team has done possibly the very best to ensure that you've had a vacation of a lifetime. So if you have any shout outs to any team members, please, I have a little box by the atrium called the Dear Rumi box. Please do not hesitate to give your kudos to the hardworking crew on board. And what do? I basically do nothing. That's what the management school teaches us. But no, I have a great staff. I have great department heads, and close to around about 900 of those out of the 1,100 crew that we have on board come under the hotel side of the operations, right from housekeeping to food and beverage to entertainment to casino to the concessions. They all come under the GM banner. I started my career with Norwegian in '98, as I mentioned. I started off in the galley as a line cook and then slowly moved through the different departments and ranks, and been general manager here since 2014. So I look forward to your questions about hotel operations, and yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, Rumi. Next up, he's overseeing the entire technical operation, all of our engines, getting us from point A to point B. He is your chief engineer from Croatia. Let's hear it from Marin.
Morning everyone, my name is Marin and I'm coming from Croatia. Started my career in 1999 as an engine cadet or apprentice engineer. Been on different kind of cargo vessel for 4 years. 2003 I joined my first cruise ship. Been on this company for 2 years, actually 1 year, and then 2004 August 2004, I joined Norwegian Cruise Line on Norwegian Crown as a second engineer. Since then, I've been all around the fleet on different kind of vessels and different positions. And from 2018, as a chief engineer on Norwegian Gem and here on Norwegian Jewel, the last 2 contracts. And yeah, that's looking forward for your questions.
Thank you. And last but not least, he's in charge of every last one of us on board, every part of the entire ship. He is the man, the myth, the legend. From Finland, let's hear it for Captain Mikko! Oh, standing ovation, Captain.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been 2 contracts now as a captain. I'm already myth and legend. Thank you so much. Okay, so my career started 1998, and yeah, I went to maritime school, graduated there, and yeah, pretty much worked on different kind of ships, from oil tankers to ferries and all kind of ships. 2005 was my first cruise ship on Disney Cruise Line, and I joined as a second officer. And 2006 I came here as a first officer. Then I pretty much worked my ranks up towards the captain position, and yeah, since last year I've been promoted as a captain, and yeah, this is my second contract as a captain, and I will be answering all your nautical and all kind of captain's questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Now we are going to turn it over to you all. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. We have Elisa and Tina with mics that will come to you. We just want to know your name and where you're from and what your question is. Not all at one time. Careful, guys. Calm down. All right, we've got starting over here. While we're answering another question, feel free to raise your hand so they can queue up for the next question. Starting on the left side with Tina.
Good morning. I'm Michelle from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And I have a question about like inspections. Like, does Norwegian self-inspect themselves, or is there another agency on top of these cruise ships that does inspections or things like that?
We get inspected all the time from different authorities, pretty much from public health inspections to technical inspections, our flag, which is Bahamian inspections, and Coast Guard inspections. Every port of call we go, we can have inspection, and basically that is the port state control inspection. So any new port of call we can go, we can have inspections. So we are inspected all the time, and we are in a good shape here on the Jewel.
Thank you. Now, all the way in the back with Elisa.
Hi, I did do the backstage tour, which was great, but I had a question after that, which I don't think was answered. How do you get your mail?
Well, we do get our mails. Nobody writes letters anymore. It's all on WhatsApp or Messenger or FaceTime. And if you're talking about Amazon and stuff like that, we have a forwarding mailing address, which is the corporate office, and then the corporate office sends it to us on the turnaround ports. For us, it's Philadelphia. For things like if the crew want to purchase something from Amazon or Walmart, Kmart, or other shopping websites. Over here, especially on this run, we have the Seafarers Union or the Seafarers Mission in Charleston that has graciously given us their services so we can send the parcels to their mailing address, and then they drive down from wherever the mail there is and they bring it to the ship for the crew. So a lot of the ports have the Seafarers missions, and they help all the seafarers who are coming, not just cruise employees, but also cargo, that they assist us in getting mails and parcels and stuff like that.
Like birthdays.
Thank
Someone
you.
wanted to send you something for birthday,
Yeah, nobody sends us anything for birthday. we gift ourselves.
Then to the left on the back with Tina.
Hi, Brenda from Philadelphia. To Captain Mikko. I'm interested in understanding the culture on the bridge in terms of all the stations of the officers and communication, because it seems very hierarchical, but I'm wondering if that's not really how it works. Like in the airline industry, people get to speak up and things like that now. I'm just wondering what it's like here in the maritime world on your bridge.
Thank you. The usual question is, Captain is here, who's driving the ship? So yeah, we have always two officers on the bridge. So there's a second officer and first officer driving the ship at this very moment. And this is the rotation. They go pretty much 4-hour watchkeeping, and then they are 8 hours off and another 4 hours watchkeeping. And I've done that many years ago. And this is how the bridge is working. And there's also one more person who is a lookout, and that is a crew member who is trained to just see something maybe the radar doesn't catch. The radars are very good today, and they catch pretty much everything. But we have also one more crew member. So there's 3 guys on the bridge at the moment. One lookout is having binoculars and telling the officers if he sees something there that we need to be aware. And that's how it goes. It's basically 4-hour watchkeeping and then 8 hours off for watchkeeping officers. And our career is very long. It takes a lot of steps before you become a captain. So, like I said, I started as a second officer, and then next position is first officer. Next position is first officer navigation, is kind of like senior first officer. After that, you get promoted to safety officer. After that, you get promoted to chief officer, and after that, you are staff captain, which is already second in command. And then after staff captain, you will be you get promoted to captain. So it's a long way, and but it's a very necessary way to learn the things. And because of the long career and all this experience, you are more comfortable when you are captain that you have got all those experience when you were junior. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, all the way to the right with Elisa.
Hi, Mary from Delaware. When we were leaving, I noticed the two Coast Guard ships that were escorting us. Was that specifically because we were going under bridges? I saw them cut away after we went under the Delaware Memorial Bridge. They cut away. Was it because of the bridges?
This is pretty much in U.S. In some ports, the Coast Guard is escorting us, and it's not necessary, but we like them because pretty much the Coast Guard boats, they sweep away all the pleasure crafts. So sometimes you have sailboats or some pleasure crafts doing funny things in front of our bow, and the Coast Guard is pretty much making sure that we have a clear path. And I need to mention something because my first cousin, he's an airline pilot. I said that up there, when you're an airline pilot, you have everybody licensed who is flying there. Everybody's licensed. But at sea, you can just buy a boat. Okay, you can buy a boat and you can be idiot on front of our bow.
That's very true.
So this is our problem. Our problem is not the cargo ships or the ships that they have a licensed officers on the bridge. Our problem is usually the pleasure boats, sailboats, and the fishing boats. People who just take shore excursion or whatever, jet ski. They can be drunk and they can be in front of our bow doing really funny things, and we still don't want to hit them. So we need to avoid them, and this creates some situations on the bridge. But we are fully always ready for those things.
Thank you, Captain. Now in the front on the left with Tina.
For Captain Mikko, first of all, thank you for the nice weather on this trip.
Yes.
I was on another NCL cruise where we had to have a change of itinerary. We were supposed to go to Greenland and we couldn't because of the weather. I'm just wondering how often that happens. And also I was wondering, do you ever see whales or sea mammals out there?
Okay, changing itinerary, it may happen, but I'm trying to keep the best connections upstairs I can, and it all depends on the weather. So if we have a rough weather, we need to divert, we do that. I will never put any passenger or crew on the ship in danger, so if we have to divert the ship to another route or skip the port, I will do that. And I've been just lucky because we haven't, this contract I haven't cancelled any ports and I'm almost signing off, so let's see how it goes. So, and regarding the whales and stuff, yes, this ship has been in Alaska many years and I have seen hundreds of whales, and yeah, we also try to avoid them.
Now all the way on the left with Elisa.
Hi, my name's Joe from South Jersey. My question's about fuel. I assume you refuel in Bermuda, right? You don't have enough capacity for round trip if you leave Philly, because I'm wondering, does Bermuda really have the capacity? I guess they do, but to refuel all these cruise ships, it's such a small island.
We are doing refueling in Philadelphia tomorrow, and every 7 days in Philadelphia we take a fuel. But we have usually we can do two times Philadelphia, Bermuda, and back. That's much fuel we have on board. And cross Atlantic and we have still some fuel to run in Europe. Yeah, so it depends on the speed, of course, but for this cruise we have two times the minimum.
So we have always spare. We never run out of fuel.
That's important. That's important. And then I think we're going next to the back, at least making her way over to the back as well.
Hi, I'm Larry, also from Philadelphia. Bryn mentioned in her presentation that the water, purified water on the ship is made by evaporation and reverse osmosis. So my question is, where does the energy come from for those processes? And is one a primary and a backup, or are they both used kind of equivalently?
We have 5 diesel generators producing electrical power, and on full speed it's enough for, so always one engine in the spare. So all pumps, electromotors, everything works from electrical power. We don't have steam generators, only electrical power. As well, propellers are running from huge electromotors, and yeah, producing the water from electricity. Water, seawater, and electricity. Yeah, running the pumps by electricity producing from generators.
So the same engines are just producing everything, every energy we need on board, from light to toilet system to everything.
And still on the left in the back, next question.
I am Debbie from Bucks County.
I am one of those airline captains, and my question is, we're constantly doing training with simulators and stuff like that recurrent. What is your training like? Do you have simulators for the ship, and how often do you have to go back to training?
Yeah, we have pretty much every 3 years, 4 years compulsory simulators, and we go different scenarios. And but mainly we are learning on board, and we are like now. My second in command, who is staff captain, I'm teaching him about the maneuvering the ship, and he's actually getting his hands on the. He did the departure yesterday, and he's learning all these things. I'm watching him what he's doing. But yeah, we have simulators, but you know how it is. If you are from the airlines, the real thing is the real thing. But I think we have a little bit less simulators what you guys have. But we have some simulators every 3 years. We go to Holland, and we have some interesting situations. We mainly about the traffic. Docking is a little bit different. For you guys, it's landing and takeoff. Maybe the main thing for us is the traffic, and we learn some situations that they usually the instructors they put us in a very difficult, stressful moments that to put ships everywhere and how you survive there. So pretty much we are a little bit like traffic controllers and the pilots at the same time. That's the job for our first officers there who are driving now, because nobody's telling us where the next ship is coming, where the jet ski is coming, where the sailboat is coming.
Thank you. And stay on the left in the front.
Hi, Paul from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Have you ever been in any rough hurricane or weather situations where a ship was really rocked and rolled and just was a tough time when you're walking down the hallway and the next thing you're walking on the wall? Have you been in a bad situation like that before?
Yeah, we never gonna put you guys there. I've been on cargo ship in very heavy weather, but for the cruise ships we are always avoiding the bad weather. So pretty much, like I have said during the announcements, less than 3 meters, you are fine. So during this cruise, all the swell height has been pretty much less than 3 meters, and that's what Norwegian Jewel can take very nicely. I hope you didn't get too seasick, but yeah, we have some times we have to go through like this cold front yesterday, and we get some waves, but then the ship doesn't roll too much. What I have experienced, I was on a tanker, and we went from Finland, where we had an oil terminal, to Greenland, and we rolled 30 degrees to 30 degrees 4 days in a row. So that's pretty much, you can imagine 30 degrees here, everything is just falling off. That you can do on cargo ship. On cruise ship, we call already 5 degrees is already called panic level. where you guys start to see what's going on, and the garden cafe is flying the plates, and you guys don't anymore have a balance. So with the cruise ships, we don't go this bad weather, and we have a very good weather forecast today. It's getting very accurate today, and we can predict, and we always keep you guys safe.
So what was the average that we went through? You said 3 to
Yeah,
5
well, when I was on an oil tanker, that was pretty much like a 9-meter wave. How much is that in feet?
27.
27 feet. If I put you guys there, you wouldn't like it. So we would not go there. Yeah, that's a different story on cargo ships and here.
Wonderful, thank you, Captain. Any other questions? Okay, we got one in the front, one in the back. I'll come to the back. Elisa will go to the front. Start in the front with Elisa.
Hi, my name is Nancy, and I'm from Delaware. And the first thing I want to do is say thank you for the wonderful crew. I have been treated so magnificently by every single person we have encountered who works for you. It's true. It is. I came with a broken ankle. Everybody's been so solicitous and kind and observant when I needed something, and it's made a huge difference. I wanted to ask, in regard to the crew, do they get any time off throughout the day? Because it seems to me I keep on seeing the same faces everywhere, here, there, and everywhere. Do they get a day, some time off each day?
Yes, we definitely do have our breaks as well. We are governed by what we call as NLC, which is part of the seafarers' contracts. That everybody has to work 10 hours a day, sometimes even less, but there has to be a continuous period of a long rest, which can be more than 6 hours. So there is, obviously we get, as we said, we have inspections for that as well from the IMO. And yeah, when you're off, we're off. When you're on, we're on. So that's why you probably keep seeing people every day, the same people. But no, like, for example, in Bermuda, especially when it's overnight, it's nice for the crew because then they can relax and go out, enjoy the ports of call. In Charleston as well, as I said, we have the Seafarers mission that takes us to, like, for grocery shoppings, to the malls and everywhere. We have a very active crew welfare committee on board, which is for the crew and by the crew as well. And they decide as to what activities they want. We have our own recreational zones down on below deck. So we have a full-fledged crew bar, we have band nights, we have team nights in the messes, we have a pool table, we have a foosball table, we have a dartboard, we have a Formula One simulator, we have a reading, like a book zone, we have PlayStations, Xboxes, and so on and so forth for the crew. And the crew welfare committee also arranges tours for the crew in different ports of the call, depending on if the crew want to go on tours. And we have a monthly raffles, or sometimes quarterly raffles we have. And every month we have a crew party with different themes, which is decided by the committee. And sometimes they want to have like a Caribbean night, or sometimes they want to have a ballroom night, and so on and so forth. So we have parties as well. So it's important to keep the crew motivated as well. And these are little things that we can do as a team on board. So.
Thank you.
Happy crew, happy ship.
Now we're coming back to the right with me. Other right, this one.
Good morning. My name is Dick from Kansas City. Another question for Rumi. How much training does your typical restaurant server undergo, and where do they do that?
Well, we have trainings on board continuously, depending on positions. We have position-based trainers. For example, the restaurant stewards will be trained by the assistant waiters. The waiters will train the assistant waiters. The maitre d's will train a group of people, a section. If they're working in MDR, they will get trained over there. So there's constant trainings on a daily basis on different topics. They have their own SOPs, their own guidelines that they keep getting trained on. We also have a full-fledged training specialist on board that trains in other, in other aspects of the service industry. So there's always constant training. If it's a new hiring process, if it's a new hire that has never been on a cruise ship before, then the training starts in the country of their origin. So they have the manning agents starts sort of training the crew to get accustomed to shipboard life. Obviously, we look for people who have worked with previous cruise ship experience or previous hotel experience so that the basics are there, and then we just groom them based on what the company requires them to be groomed on. A new hire can take anywhere from the process of getting hired close to 6 months, because they have to go through all the trainings, safety trainings, vocational trainings, get their clearance from police, visas, and so on and so forth. So anywhere from 3 to 6 months it takes for a new crew member to come on board. So, but when they're once on board, we put them with a buddy system, so it's easier, an experienced crew with a new crew, so they kind of get them accustomed to shipboard life as well. So.
Thank you. And then back all the way on the left with Elisa.
Yes, my name is DeFrance from Washington State, and my question's for Marin. You, I'm sure, have to do major overhauls on the diesel generators periodically, and I'm wondering how often that has to happen.
Every 6,000 hours each engine. Right now we have a diesel generator number 2 under the overhaul, 84,000, and 12,000 after a big overhaul. Takes like 10 days. This small overhaul takes approximately 7 to 10 days with technicians from shoreside and our team. But yeah, every 6,000 hours according to the running hours. Yeah.
And
you're welcome.
We've got time for just a few more questions. We've got one all the way on your right with me.
Hi, I'm Ann from Delaware. I was just wondering when the determination is made to leave people behind. I've heard things like runners for the cruise line after the boat's going out, but I saw a lot of conversation yesterday with a woman and a man that were outside the boat, and finally, they walked down the pier, and I was like, it seemed like it was almost half an hour past the boarding time, and it seemed like communication was still going on with those two.
Yeah, don't be late. So we have pretty much, we can determine how much we can delay. It's about the speed we need to do for the next port of call. So pretty much from A to B, you need to keep certain speed, and we want to be on time. We don't want to be delayed because some of the guests were delayed. Any NCL tour you take, that's always safe. We always wait NCL tours. But if you are going to independent tour, you book a tour on your own, that's it. We cannot be delayed too much. We have some tolerance, but like I said, it depends where we are. All depends how much speed we need to adjust just to be on time, because we are now half an hour delay, 45 minutes delay, or 1 hour delay. Any NCL tours, we always wait them, so that's the best way to secure that you will not be left behind. And yeah, when we have tolerance, we wait. But the main thing is that you guys, you have a contact information. Because when you are late and you are not on board, we're gonna call you. We're gonna call on your phone. Where are you? If we know how far you are, we may wait you. If you are too far away, we may leave. Depends what speed we need to go for the next port of call. But if you don't get any connections to you, we don't know absolutely where you are, we're gonna go.
Wonderful. And I think we've got time for two last questions in the back.
Gentlemen, I don't know if you want to answer this question. Do you have any thoughts on the new president of NCL?
Sorry, we couldn't hear that.
Do you have any thoughts of the new president of NCL?
No, we don't.
He's perfect.
I like that. Safe recovery. And our final question, all the way in the back.
Hi, I'm Joanne from South Jersey, and I was curious about the contract or the schedule for the crew, the restaurants and staff, and the hotel. Do they have, for instance, 8 months on, 4 months off? Is it a 1-year contract? How does that work for the staff?
There are different contract lengths for staff. You can start from us over here. We are captain and the technical teams. They're on 10 weeks on, 10 weeks off. Myself, I'm 3 months on, 3 months off. The other hotel officers and supervisors are 4 months on, 2 months off, 6 months on, 2 months off, 7 months on, 2 months off, 8 months on, 2 months off. But we do have the flexibility of requesting a longer time off, or taking a break or a sabbatical and then coming back as well. But so it depends. But no more than a crew member can stay no more than 300 days on board. After 300 days, they have to get off the ship. So.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our incredible senior officers.
Thank you.
Taking the time. Now stick around. We will be having our future cruise presentation with your cruise next team coming up in just a few short minutes. We've got more fun happening throughout the day. Enjoy your last day on board, and don't forget to follow your disembarkation process for tomorrow in Philadelphia.